Round two. Round two. We're trying this again. Uh, I've said it before. Technology is not my thing. I'd rather be welding or grinding or hammering or something. Uh, Technology just makes things difficult for me. So I'm hoping this is working, and give me some feedback if it is, or if it isn't. I don't know what else to do. So hey Gary, how you doing? Can you hear me, Gary? I hope so. Yeah, it's still showing me that it's got some sort of issue, some sort of error is popping up on here, and I don't understand it. But let me see if I can. Yeah, I don't know what else to do. All right, no echo. That's good. Okay. Well, I keep getting an error code popping up on my screen, so I'm hoping that it's temporary. I don't know. I thought I had something good going on, but apparently it's not. But I'll get it figured out. And like I was saying earlier in the other stream, which is probably terrible, um, I talked about trying to do something like this once a week. So thanks Nick. Hopefully it's working. It's still showing an error code on the screen for some reason. Uh, some viewers will experience buffering. So anyway, we'll get that addressed. But I'm looking at trying to do this once a week, probably on Monday nights. I think that works out best for me. And let me leave some feedback. Let me know if you think that's a good idea. And it could be random topics. I may just have to. My wife suggested I take a journal and write down some stuff and get some ideas going for what I can do. And uh, hey, thanks, Robbie. Glad you're here. Tom. Uh-oh. I see a little mark above the E. Hey, little. Hey, little. Hey, little. Hello from France. Well, that's a long way. I hope that's. I don't know how to say that. It says Tom. I'm gonna guess and say Paget. I don't know. You can tell me if I'm wrong. I don't speak French, but I'm glad you're here. And like I said, I think I'm gonna try to do this on Monday nights. And if we can get the streaming stuff figured out and get the bandwidth figured out, and make it work. Uh, Thanks, Terry. That's great. Yeah. Well, we had some problems with the. Whoa, Japan, Hataru Porsche. That's pretty cool. I don't know if I've ever had anybody respond from Japan. That's pretty cool. Um, Leonard, I was going to say communication. How it did the Navy hand signals. Well, you know what? I wouldn't. All I can tell you is I was in the infantry, and I can go enemy to the front. You know, rally point. That's about it. Well, actually, rally point. I would point with my other hand and make a circle. So anyway, uh, hey, thanks, Tom. Which Tom does not sound French. I'll just say that. So I get Paget, but I don't know about Tom. I don't know if I've ever heard, you know, a Frenchman with the name Tom. So maybe you shortened it or something. I don't know. You can you can respond if you like, but um, Hataru, that's pretty cool. That's really surprising that somebody from Japan is watching this live stream right now because we've been struggling trying to get it up and get it working, and it's it's here for the moment anyway. So um, back to the point of trying to do this once a week, maybe with some different subjects. And Hataru, I hope I'm saying that right. Hataru with the last name Porsche. I don't think that's Japanese. Um, even watching channel current project is 73 Mach 1. That's cool. Mach 1. That's awesome. That's a big car, but it's still a Mach 1, and that's cool. Um, let's see. Fairway. Oh, hey from Texas, or hey from Georgia, back to Texas. And Terry Baptist, dad served in the Army in '66. Well, I hope he's still around, and if he is, I thank him for his service. Those guys, did some stuff. I don't know if he went to Vietnam or anything, but I have relatives who went to Vietnam, and anyway, we're not getting into that, but I thank him for his service. 9:10 a.m. in Japan. 9:10 a.m. Wow, I'm still surprised at that. I mean, I've talked to people, or have people contact me from Australia, Sweden. I don't know where Ricard is. Ricard, where are you at? You've got that Mach 1 you're building. We've actually talked on the phone to Ricard, and where was the other one? Sweden. Oh, guy from Italy. Can't think of his name right now. Talked to him directly. We actually used the WhatsApp and figured out some issues with his. I think he had a '68 Mustang as well over in Italy, and I don't remember his name at the moment, but I'm sure I will. And what was his name? Now I'm confused. Now I'm trying to remember what his guy's name was. Hang on, I can probably pull it up. Alberto, that's right. Alberto Pozzi. Pozzi? I don't know. Anyway, I helped him out with his car, and that was kind of interesting. And let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, Tom, you're welcome. 22. All right. That's awesome. 73 Mach 1 with a Cleveland in it. That's awesome. That is really cool. So in France, that's, I had another contact from France. Can't think of his name right now. I think he had a red Mach 1. I think. I may be confusing people because it's a whole other country and I only see them or hear from them through my Facebook page or through YouTube. So in France, it's, 1 hour, 11 minutes. So I'm guessing that's, I don't know how to read that. 111? I don't know. I guess AM? I'm not sure how that works. Um, it's tough whenever I'm over here at 7:13 p.m. in Eastern Time Zone, United States, and I guess you'd have to be AM, wouldn't you? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I'm just glad you're here. Um, so anyway, like I was saying, I'm going to try to do these on Mondays, and I'll try to field questions and come up with a subject. As I was saying in the earlier stream that fell apart, I had a car that I drove in high school that was just a ugly old car, and oh, there we go, 1 a.m. Got it. That's what I thought, but I was 24-hour time. Well, that's true. That's true. Thanks, Wave. I don't know how. I'll just say Wave because I don't know. But anyway, so I'm going to try to come up with a subject. And like I said, I was talking about this car that I had that was just an ugly 74 Matador, black and green, and 6-cylinder automatic. And I drove it a few months. The exhaust fell off of it, and we ended up junking it. So, hey, South Korea, that's pretty cool. Getting all over the country, all over the world. I'm waiting for somebody from Australia. Surely there's somebody. I know Mike is in Australia working on a 66 fastback, and I talked to him. He's had issues with getting doors to fit his car and a variety of other things. But anyway, long story on that one. But I know he's struggling with that car. But like I said, the first car I had, it went away, and I drove. I had Tom. You'll like that. A Renault Le Car. Renault. Renault Le Car. My dad and my grandfather drove a bunch of Renaults. I know in the States they typically say Renault because that's just the way we are. But my dad had some Dauphines, Renault Dauphines. Had two of those. We had R5s, R8s, R10s, R16s. There may have been some other ones in there, but they drove my dad and my grandfather drove those cars all over the place. And so anyway, it was just kind of interesting that somebody from France is here, and I was talking about Renaults, which I don't even think there's nothing in the U.S. I don't know when the last time I saw a Renault in the U.S. Had to be mid '80s that they were last sold, I think. But anyway, it was they didn't AMC sold them and then AMC fell apart. So let's see. Terry, Brooklyn Pony's coming along. Got to get some parts here and figure out the brake system. I mentioned in the vlog that I did. I want to get the master cylinder mounted. I want to get the the brake pedal figured out and get the steering column in. I want to get the bottom of the car all finished up, get the brake lines run, so that I can take everything back out and spray it, undercoat it, and have it done on the underside of the car for the most part. There may be a few things that need to be addressed, but I want to kind of get all that done. So, we're trying to work that out and get that stuff taken care of. Tom, what is the best place to find body parts for Mustangs? For me, well, if you're talking about the 65 or to 70, CJ Pony Parts has been probably the one I go to now. There's other ones. I think there's Kentucky Mustang. I think there's a few other ones because honestly, I think Mustangs Unlimited is going out of business. And other than that, the sources are kind of limited. You got NPD, National Parts Depot. But I think for me, my default is going to be CJ Pony Parts, at least at this point. And I'm trying to figure out and find some others that interest me. I've heard of good things from Kentucky. I think it's Kentucky Mustang. And there's another one that I recently heard about that was supposedly really good, but I don't remember the name at the moment. So, George, I like your videos, and I've been building a new 65 convertible. Only thing used is the dash and rear seat hardware. Served 4th Infantry, 11 Bravo 68. Nice. Good for you. I'm glad you served. And that sounds very similar to what the Brooklyn Pony is. Pieces and parts, that little pieces saved. And, thank you for your service. Definitely. 11 Bravo, too. Kudos, man. Kudos. I was 11 Charlie and never saw combat or anything, but I give you, a salute, right hand salute. So, yes, those Dauphines were pretty neat little cars. Let's see, Leonard, first car I bought out of my friend's wrecking yard, a 57 Ford Custom with a T-Bird 312 for $75. That sounds like a deal. So, this Renault Alliance. Yes, I remember those. We actually had one of those too. Yeah, it was a decent car. Grease Rookie. Hey, Andrew. Took your advice. I'm doing a live stream. First car was 69 Buick Skylark. I remember you talking about that on your channel. And never got it roadworthy. First driver was a 93 Dodge Caravan. Rockin'. 93 Dodge Caravan. I actually had a 92 Dodge Caravan when my wife and I first got married. And the transmission was a mess because they had a computer controlled foot pedal device, supposed to be like follow your driving patterns and then copy it or something. I don't know. We got rid of it. It was a pain. I don't miss it at all. Donnie Roebuck, my parents aren't car people, although my mom had a 72 Barracuda and a slant 6 and a 3-speed. Yep, that was pretty normal, for a lot of those cars. Interesting whistle when Dad was coming home. Yeah, we had a bunch of those Mopar stuff, a variety of Mopar stuff at the junkyard. And I remember a Duster or something that my dad bought at the auction. Made a lot of noise, and we unloaded it off the truck. It was still, you fire it up and you could drive it, but it literally had a hole in the side of the block. I guess it'd be the number 3 and 4 pistons had migrated out of the block, and there was a hole about that big, and you could see the crank turning, but the car still ran. You couldn't kill it, and we didn't save it. We just drove it up in a junkyard and junked it. But anyway, 67 Barracuda slant 6, plum crazy purple, Bigfoot. That is an odd combination. I mean, plum crazy and a slant 6, man. I mean, I know they were doing some economy stuff back then, but man, that's just an odd combination. Oh, Gary, yeah, the motorcycle's gone. I tried to fight with it, and I did on my other channel, Joe Daddy's Workshop. I did the tank liner on that thing, and I played with it a little bit, and I just got frustrated. I need something old. I can't. Everything was in, the carburetor and everything was inside this massive. Yeah, I just sold it. So, but I do have another motorcycle. I think it's a 72 Honda CB 750 that a friend of mine is working on, I guess, but he moved, and I don't know where the bike is right now. And it's an orange one, got the orange tank. I made a video on that 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know the status of it. I still have the title. I don't know what he's doing with it. Hopefully he responds to me at some point. I know that I still have a motorcycle. Classic Industries, yep, that's probably a good one. As far as a parts supplier, that's probably pretty decent. Thank you, George. I appreciate the salute. Didn't know that the Mustangs Unlimited started using them back in the early 90s. Yeah, that they had a store in Atlanta, or North Atlanta, Lawrenceville. And I would drive directly to the store and hand pick all of my sheet metal. That's what I did, because I bought all the Brooklyn Pony stuff there. And I would hand pick all the stuff so I knew I got the right pieces and they were not mangled or anything like that, and then drive back. It was only an hour or so from my house. And when I found out that they shut down that place, I was really disappointed, because I liked that option. I like being able to go and hand pick my stuff. So then I heard through another friend who was a part shipper to Europe that he contacted somebody who used to be an operator or something at Mustangs Unlimited, and he said that they were folding. So, in fact, if I remember correctly, he said that today was the day they were going to close. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. You could probably do some research and find out real quick if you tried to order something, but I know they were getting rid of all kinds of stuff. Let's see. Nick Pixel, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. That's right. Give me a like on this, because this stream is working. The other stream, I may just delete it, but give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. That helps out. Thanks, Nick. First car, Tom Paget. I like saying that, Paget. My first car was a 53 Ford Vedette V8. I know that wasn't made in the States. I don't even know what that would look like. Vedette. 53 Ford Vedette. I imagine that was kind of a rounded off little car, or smaller car. I can envision something rounded, being a 53, but never heard that name before. But it had a V8 in it? That's pretty cool. Grease Rookie. I managed to fit a Buick hood in the back of the Caravan. That's saying something right there. Because I know those Caravans were neat, though. I will say that they had their purpose, and they helped out people at a time whenever they were needing a Caravan or a minivan of that sort. And so they served their purpose, and they sold tons of those things. And the one we had, it was really, the only thing wrong with it was the fact that the transmission kept screwing up on it, and I could not trust it. So we got rid of it. Let's see, Leonard Barry, did you know that Ford now building 65? Yeah, I saw that. There's licensed Mustangs that they're building. If I understand correctly, you're going to pay like $100,000 for one of those things. I'm not. but somebody is, and they're probably, they're building it with modernized stuff. But I haven't really looked into it very hard because I'm not interested. And but I mean, if somebody wants to spend that kind of money, they can. I mean, somebody's going to make the money. So, Donnie, my first car was a '63 GMC half-ton truck 305 V6. Yep. Uh, yeah, I understand that. In fact, the Franken truck, if you've watched any of that series, where I took the '68 cab and put it on the '06 chassis, that had that 305 V6, and it was a great engine if you wanted to pull an oak tree out of the ground with, but that truck would do like 50 miles an hour, and the engine would be singing because that's all it could do. The torque and everything was incredible, but they weren't really made for speed. So, in fact, I'll go back, say, Donnie, my first truck, well, I tried to get a 66 Ford F-150 4x4 on the road. I forget what happened to that truck. So I never did. And then I had a 72 Chevy long bed that I did a bunch of, teenager custom stuff to it. I put stacks on it. I put a step-side bed, a different seat, and I drove that for quite some time before I went in the military. I got a whole nother story about that truck, but we'll not get into that. Let's see. Terry, if Ford brings back the 65.6 Mustang Fastback, he'll take one. Well, I think that's what they're actually trying to build. But they're going to build a modernized version, but it's not going to be cheap. I can tell you that right now. It will not be cheap. I've seen advertising for certain companies that are building these Mustangs, and literally it's like they're trying to get $100,000 out of these things, just like the Broncos. They're getting $100,000 for a new old Bronco, which is just crazy to me. Let's see. Thank you for the thumbs up, Bernie. Thank you, Gary. Rick Middleton. My first car was a '65 Mustang Fastback. Yeah. Well, I never got into the early Fastbacks because my dad had a junkyard, so I didn't really get. We had, I could tell you this, the Mustangs we had in the junkyard. We had a '70 Mach 1, it was yellow. We had a red '69 coupe. We had a blue '70 coupe. And that's it. Well, other than the '69 Mach 1 that my dad had that just was long story. I'm not going to go into that one. But we had those Mustangs sitting there. But we didn't have any, I don't remember any 65 or 6, 7 or 8 Mustangs at the junkyard at all. So, 74 Dodge Coronet with a 400. Yeah, it would be a beast. That was a cool car. Was it Coronet? Was it? Oh, so was it a 2-door? I hope it was a 2-door, because the 4-doors weren't that pretty. Rick, by the way, I still have my '69 Mach 1. If I can't have my '65 back, at least I still have that. It's on my list to get a '69 Mach 1 somewhere, somehow. It doesn't have to be, I don't want it restored. I want to do it myself. And I missed out on one that was on Facebook Marketplace last year. Somebody had butchered up the car. They had cut the front. I mean, it was a 6-cylinder. It was a sports roof. It wasn't a Mach 1. But they had just cut it up to where it was just a shell and part of the floor pan left. But it had fenders and doors and stuff. And I hesitated. I could have got it for like $1,200, and I skipped over it because it just timing wasn't right. But in hindsight, which is 2020 is the year of hindsight, just so you know. In hindsight, I should have went back and I should have bought that car. I would have been pretty excited about it. First car, '83 Vet. Well, '83 Vet. Is that right? You trying to play a trick? What year did they not have a Vet? Chevette. Yeah, because I don't know if they had a Corvette in '83. You almost got there. I'm trying to remember the year. It was one year they didn't have a Corvette, and I think it was '83. Um, let's see. Oh, then you got okay, 76 Camaro LT. Yeah, decent car. And then George, have to eat dinner. Google my name with LS1 and you can see some of my work. I really appreciate your videos. My first car was 57 Pontiac way back in 62. You've been around a while, George. I'm glad you're still here. I'm glad you like my videos. 62? Man, okay. Well, yeah, I won't guess at your age, but I'm going to say you've been around a while. If you're, yeah. Uh, Donnie, I'm not sure if they're going to put Coyote Power in the new old Mustang. I'm not sure. I think there's a chance they are, but I haven't researched it at all. Rick, it was rough. Well, I lost you. It was rough, but it was all original with its 289. Okay, that's cool. Let's see. Okay, Grease rookie Andrew. It's my understanding that Ford is actually finding old 65.6 to use as the foundation for the new. They're not building them completely from scratch. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, I'm sure they're not cheap. I can tell you that. Four-door Cornet. Oh, bummer, bummer. Um, let's see. 69 is with the 390 with 4-speed. It's all restored numbers matching. It's red with the black stripes. That's cool. My dad's 69 Mach 1 had the 351 Windsor, 4-speed, Acapulco blue with the stripes on it, you know, all the stuff you would get on a Mach 1 package. It was the car. You know, if you normally to me, if you picture a 69 Mach 1, that's it. The Acapulco blue, you know, that was the car. And unfortunately, he ended up selling that car in mid 80s, and it only had 16,000 original miles on it. It still had the original tires on that car, but he sold it. So I've always loved that car, and I hope to get one someday. The Ford Vedette wasn't sold in USA. It's like a little American style car with a 2 liters flathead V8. 2 liter, yeah, that would be pretty small. That would be pretty small. I may have to look that up just out of curiosity to see what a Vedette is. Sounds interesting. 83. Sorry, Terry, I'm out of sequence on this. 83. Oh yeah, 83 Corvette. I got it. See? Kidneys. DP, your metalwork is inspiring. Keep it coming. I will. That's the plan. Dave, from a wrecking yard family like you, had 27 cars by the time I was 16, but my first road legal insured car was a 68 Coupe. That's cool. The first vehicle, like I said, that I technically owned, had it in my name, was the 72 Chevy long bed. That was in my name. So my dad couldn't sell it. Otherwise, all the cars that I drove, you know, and worked on or fixed up or whatever, they ended up getting sold, and I was out of luck. What do I think of the C8 new Corvette? I think they built themselves one heck of a machine. I can tell you that. I have not. I've heard some mixed reviews on the new Corvette. Um, Obviously, something that has a rear engine is going to create steering issues, and I think they're still working on that to a point, you know. But I've heard some really outstanding things about that car, and I think they're going to be awesome. Rick, okay. Ed just bought a 65 Mustang, tearing it down. I appreciate all the knowledge you impart. It's my first time to completely restore one. That's awesome. I'm glad you're doing it, and I'm glad you took on the challenge. And that's, again, this is part of the reason, and I've said this before, when I created this process and I started doing these videos really from my home shop in 2013, or maybe before, anyway. The idea was to share knowledge, you know, get people interested. And, you know, it's something that, you know, it'd be nice if somebody like CJ Pony said, hey, we want to sponsor you because you're helping us sell product, you know, but it hasn't happened, but maybe it will. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. But I'm glad you took on a project, Ed. That's pretty awesome. And let's see. It was Rick. Ugh. I wanted that car so bad. Um, I could go into a whole bunch of story about that, but I don't want to. That car still is always going to be in the back of my mind, like forever. I actually um, I actually have searched as much as I could without having a serial number. I don't remember the VIN number. Um, I tried to get information from my dad years later as to who he sold it to. He couldn't remember. He sold so many cars. I don't understand. I mean, I'll blame him. He couldn't remember every car he ever sold. Um, and it was somewhere in Pennsylvania. So I'm pretty sure the guy was in Pennsylvania, but I have no recollection of anything beyond that car going away on a trailer. So anyway, so yeah, long journey with the Mustang. You're right. 68 Pontiac Firebird, cool car. They really were. I actually like the Firebirds. They were just different. And I think if I remember, I want to say we had a 68 or 67 or 68 Firebird at the junkyard. I think we had a coupe and a convertible. I think it's been a long time, but I know there was a green coupe for sure. And yeah, that car's long gone. Everything's gone. Um, Dave, my dad could not sell my cars, but he could put them in the crusher. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because uh, when I had my '72 Chevy truck, I had it parked up there, and I came home on my first leave, and half the truck was gone. And I asked my brother what happened to it, and he said I sold it. And I said, well, what do you mean? Why did you sell off parts of my truck? His answer, you owe me for storage. Think about that a minute. He's selling off the vehicle that I owed him storage for. Anyway, that thing went away, um, unfortunately. Uh-oh. Oh, the video's stuck. It was working. What? Is it up now?